hindsight, I was like, okay, I should have jumped off this thing. But what I ended up doing is sort of holding on onto the front of the boat, and that was going up, and we're just going up and up and up. And the back of the boat kind of got out of the water, got airborne, and as it came down, I lost my grip of the front of the boat, and I just free fell. And the last thing I sort of remember is just hitting my chin onto the bench of the boat and just hearing this crack.
Hey guys, welcome back to When It Hits the Fan, the brand new podcast from Battleface Travel Insurance. My name's Jack, and if you joined us last episode, you'll know what we're about. We talked to some of the world's most adventurous travelers, from expedition leaders to freelance journalists, about their hairiest moment on the road and how they got out of it in one piece. We've got another great guest today in the form of Oli Russell-Cowan. Oli is the founder of RadSeason, a website that brings you the best in action sports, adventure events, and cultural festivals from around the world. If you haven't checked out RadSeason yet, we're going to put a link in the video description below so you can find out about some of the planet's most exciting events, as well as book tickets and accommodation. I should say Oli is also the host of RadSeason's new podcast, so make sure to check them out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, Oli, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. It's good. Yeah, good to be here.
Fantastic. And you're in Germany at the moment, is that right?
I am, yeah. So I'm over in a place called Dresden, which is about an hour away from Berlin, sort of between Prague and Berlin.
Mm-hmm. And I've just found out you actually live in Lisbon at the moment.
I do, yeah. So I live over there with my family, and we moved to Lisbon from Sydney in September last year. So
fantastic, lovely
yeah,
place to live.
Somewhere close. Yeah, it's a great place. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
So, Oli, let's jump straight into it. Like, will you set the scene for us? Kind of tell us where you were, what you were doing there, and then we'll find out exactly what happened.
Sure. So, I guess yeah, it was 2010, and normally every year, every summer, I've tried to go on a guys or like friends group surf trip. And that year we went over to Nicaragua, which is in Central America. Mm-hmm. And we were over in a place called Popoya, and the setup there is amazing. They've got all different types of waves, from beach breaks to reefs. And what you normally do is you can either go on land and you can kind of do a little tour and you can go to different breaks, or you can get on a boat. So we were sort of, there was three of us that went over from the UK at the time. And we were, getting up every morning at seemed like 4:30, they just set this alarm. And it was almost, we called it like the surf prison camp kind of thing. So it was pretty rigorous. It was almost like a kind of, like a sort of fitness style surfing camp where you just surf all day, and you had breaks and you eat, and it was really amazing setup. So we were getting up early, and I think it was 10 days we were over there, and the second to last day, by that time you're completely surfed out and you've been surfing 7 or 8 hours a day. And we got on the boat, and every morning when you do get on the boat, there'd be a group of you, for about 10 to 12 people, and you'd go out, and the boat would take you, it would dock off on the beach and then take you across to these reefs, and you'd sort of look at different waves, and sort of figure out which ones you were going to surf and what had the best wind conditions, that kind of thing.
It's pretty challenging surfing over there.
Not especially, like really fun. So nothing super big. Mm-hmm. So the waves were like perfect conditions. I mean, like Nicaragua has this lake in the middle of the country, which creates offshore wind, which is really good for surfing. About over 300 days a year, they have this perfect wind, which is super rare, and there's nowhere else in the world that has those conditions wind-wise. So if you go there kind of any time between, April until September, you guarantee that you're going to get pretty decent surf, unless you get really, really unlucky. But so we're out there, and we were checking the reefs, and the captain on the boat is sort of in these open top boat, like wooden rickety old boats with an engine. You're sitting on this plywood, kind of on these different benches. Me and a friend were right at the front of the boat, and we were checking out this reef. Everyone was looking at the waves. It was incredible conditions. It was like, oh my god, like look at what's happening over there. And we weren't really paying attention to what was in front of us. And at that time, there was a massive set, almost like a freak set came of like a series, probably about 3 waves just came towards us. As that happened, we told the captain of the boat, we're like, look at the horizon, pay attention, something's coming straight at us. So he floored it, and as he did that, the boat just shot off and went completely vertical.
Wow.
Just as he hit full throttle, it just flew up in the air. And as I mentioned, I was at the front with a friend, and this thing's probably about 20 foot. The boat, so is about 20 foot in length. And as we went up in the air, the boat went vertical. And at the time, I'm thinking, well, do I jump off the boat? And then if it lands, it could land on top of me.
Yeah, of course.
In hindsight, I was like, okay, I should have jumped off this thing. But what I ended up doing is sort of holding on onto the front of the boat, and that was going up, and we're just going up and up and up. And the back of the boat kind of got out of the water, got airborne. And as it came down, I lost my grip of the front of the boat, and I just free fell. And the last thing I sort of remember is just hitting my chin onto the bench of the boat and just hearing this crack
no.
on my teeth. And then the next minute I know, I just got a super bad headache, and I'm waking up, and I'm sort of, I think I probably had a bit of a go at the captain. I was like, what's happened? I'm like bleeding out of my chin, checking my teeth, I cracked my teeth, and like, what's just happened? The other friend of mine was like, Gibbo, he was right at the front of the boat. He was holding his ribs, and he was sort of like, I think I've cracked a rib. So we're like, both of us sitting there. Everyone else luckily was at the back of the boat. So they sort of, as it caught off, they didn't get, they weren't thrown up in the air as high as we were. And I basically just ragdolled. And the guys were telling me that I was out for about a minute.
Okay.
And yeah, I just remember going, like, I've got to get on a flight in like 24 hours. And it was going from Nicaragua to, I think I was changing at Houston for some weird reason, then going back to London. So yeah, it was a bit of a long way. It was almost, or it could have been like Nicaragua, LA, Houston, and then back to London. It was like a 30-hour detour, the whole thing. And I was super concussed. We got off the boat. Luckily, they sort of assessed the situation, realized that I was just completely out of it and just wasn't making any sense. And they're like, okay, we've got to get this guy checked out. It wasn't super, like, it was just one cut. I had about 7 stitches in my chin, which a local doctor did over near the surf camp. And then I managed to get my teeth done. I just chipped 2 teeth and I was covered. So when I got back to the UK, I had that all fixed up. But
what about
one thing I remember.
Was that?
Sorry, I'm sorry. What was that?
Did you manage to actually get your head checked out? Whether there was possible concussion from the injury?
No, I should have. I could probably kind of blame a lot of things on that now, but
Yeah, right.
no, no. At the time, I didn't. I was sort of traveling to the airport with someone who was going back at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew what happened, and I was just like, you know, can just if I start getting weird in the airport, you know,
Yeah.
you just make sure I'm all right.
Well, this
And
is
it
the
was,
benefit, of course, of traveling with friends. You know, if you're traveling on your own here, you know, okay, right, you're off to the airport, you're completely sort of without that support network. And if you do start feeling dizzy or start speaking in tongues, then you're in real trouble. But yeah, look, I mean,
exactly.
luckily, you know, you've got a sort of good group of lads with you. So by the sounds of things, you know, that helped a bit.
It did definitely, and then also, you know, like befriending people over there as well was good. So yeah, everyone was kind of, you know, checking on each other. So that was cool.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's funny how you kind of mentioned the rickety boat because, you know, I find that from my experience as well, you know, when you're in a foreign country, your kind of standards of what you would accept from transportation just seem to plummet for some reason. You know, you wouldn't get on that boat in Devon, for example, but in Nicaragua, it's like, well, this is the boat, we get on the boat.
Yeah. I think that's just part of it. Sort of like definitely for me, that's as part of traveling. So you kind of
Absolutely, yeah.
you try and go to these places with like within reason, you know, like with an open mind and think, okay, well, these are the boats they're riding over here. This is what we're going to do, and you
Sure.
jump on, and that's it.
Absolutely. And what did you learn then from this experience, Ollie? Was it something you came out the other side and said, okay, right, next time I need to make sure I'm, you know, covered for this particular eventuality, or next time I'm going to sort of, you know, check the waves beforehand, or is there anything
Um,
you learn, or was it just one of these freak things where you go, well, you know, these things happen when you're traveling?
it was a bit of everything. So definitely, like never turn your back on the ocean. Always look out in front of you just to
Yeah,
see
right.
if something like that. Like it was just a freak wave. If it, you know, these things can happen. Uh, Being covered on trips, especially, you know, if you're going to be doing any sort of activities, it doesn't matter if you're surfing or, you know, if you're going to go scuba diving or even like, you know, renting a motorbike, whatever it is, you know, trying to make sure that you are covered. And sort of thinking that, you know, you are in a different place, things can happen as well. And you know, sometimes things are just out of your control, so you kind of got to go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, you got the teeth fixed. There was no kind of long-lasting damage
No,
to
that's it.
the mental faculties. So I guess you came out of it with a good story to tell, and nothing longer lasting than that, Ollie.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, no, there's definitely no long-term damage. So yeah.
Sure. Fantastic. So, Ollie, obviously, as the founder of Rad Season, you know, I would maybe describe you as a bit of a kind of festival fanatic. Obviously, this year, no one's been able to go to any festivals so far, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any music
Yeah.
festivals or, you know, adventure sports events. But, you know, hoping in the future when this settles down, we're going to be able to sort of resume business as usual. But we asked you to name your top three essential items to take to summer festivals. What have you
Yeah.
got for us?
So the top three things, not like normally, like the majority of festivals, especially music festivals, happen within the summertime. So bringing or putting on sun cream is essential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the amount of times I've kind of gone out in the morning and it's been overcast and be like, yeah, I'll be all right today, and then, you know, you kind of, yeah, you regret it halfway through the morning.
I mean, it could ruin your weekend. I mean, you're walking around with a horrible red face, just burning. It's horrible.
Yeah, so that's definitely something. The second one is a reusable water bottle that you can fill up along the way. Normally, these places do have, you know, like water stations where you can fill up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is taking like either like a front pack or a backpack with you for valuables. If you're gonna be needing, like if you bring your phone for for connecting with mates, or taking photos, or money, that sort of stuff. So that's kind of, I guess, those three things. And then just bringing a smile as well, and just always enjoying it, and having a good time.
Absolutely. Well, fantastic. Well, I mean, obviously been a tricky time for everyone, especially for, an events website. I know you've kind of focused on a lot of virtual events as well, and kind of, stuff which is upcoming, maybe when travel resumes shortly. What's next for Rad Season? Do you have any big plans for the platform?
So we're working on virtual events and online festivals at the moment. What we are then looking to do is potentially, so we've released a video series and podcast where we're like interviewing everyone sort of within the events and festival space, athletes, that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And now looking at I guess like clothing, and sort of seeing if we're doing like our own sort of clothing line or merchandise to go along with the Rad Season brand. And then Rad Season TV, we're looking at that for when festivals begin again next year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we will put, I think, a link to the website and the podcast as well, which I know is available on multiple platforms in the video description here. And I think that's it, Oli. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon from Germany. And hopefully we get to chat again soon.
Cheers. It was good speaking to you.
And you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, that's all we've got time for this month, but we'll be back in September with more tales of adventure from the world's greatest globetrotters. If you enjoyed this video, we would love a like below, and of course, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified about the next episode. We've got some great guests lined up in the coming weeks, and we're looking forward to bringing those interviews to you. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.